Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black, White, and Red All Over. I'm Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics.
And I'm Jeremy Duff, normally the man behind the curtain.
That's right. We are back here at Comic Town, but Ryan is out this week. He's taking a break. Dude needs a rest, okay? He works hard. King of Comic Town. He's allowed to take a reprieve every once in a while. But we are here in his stead, and we've read some books, y'all. Okay, so we got honorable mention side. We got one that's the same now.
One the same there.
Okay, so where do you want to start? Because
catch me up on Shang-Chi.
Okay, Shang-Chi love is for real, for real. Okay, full disclosure, I didn't read issue 2, right? It came out during a big week, and I had to make choices. Okay, I know we make choices. They're hard choices to make, but I made them. But I jumped back in with issue 3. And so we've got the 5 houses of, moves. Sister Dagger, Sister Hammer, Brother Saber, and of course Shang-Chi himself is Brother Hand. And they are building up some crazy cool mythos here. There's like these kind of zombie-esque type creature things that have to listen to the head bad chick, who is Sister Hammer, right? She's trying to make her big play to take over. And Shang-Chi seems to be afflicted with something that is going to cause some troubles, man. So this is really dope. Actually, let me give a shout out to the creative team because this is a freaking gorgeous book. So Jean Lun Yang, DK Ruan, Philip Tan, Sebastian Chang, Travis Lanham. Like, obviously, this is a book of culture for the culture, and it reads really well because of it. There's an authenticity there. It's not, making fun of anything. It's not being like heavy-handed with anything. It's just telling cool stories, and this happens to be a very authentic voice to tell those stories with. So, highly recommend it. It's only issue 3. Nice. Pick that up right now.
So, first off, I went with Scout Comics, Assassin and Son.
Okay.
And the reason I went with this is because the main writer on it was Shad Gaspard.
Oh, word.
Don't know if you're familiar with the name.
I do believe I know that name.
He was a WWE wrestler. He died earlier this year.
Oh, that's okay. I was like, wait, didn't he die?
He drowned saving his son.
Yes, he did. Okay.
Out on the West Coast. And I knew he was dabbling in writing.
Right.
And this is what he had been working on was finally coming out. So I wanted to give it a try.
Okay.
So Shad Gaspard, Mark Capani, Eater Messias, it looks like. Very interesting story.
Yeah.
It's about a young boy that was abandoned on the streets of New York and ended up being raised by a Yakuza hitman.
In New York? Oh, that's fun.
Then obviously shaped what his life is to come.
Of course.
Although I'm not 100% sure where this is going.
Okay, let me check this out.
Because it starts off, telling one thing, then it flashes back a little over a decade and sets the stage for what looks like a major mafia-esque war in New York. And I'm curious to see how those two things get tied together. So it's got definitely a very, very colorful, rich art style. Definitely for mature audiences. Heavy violence, lots of limbs, lots of blood.
Okay.
But it'll be interesting. I'm curious to see how they're going to tie this together with because I'm not sure if the boy who was raised by the Yakuza hitman, you immediately think it's the main character you're reading about.
Oh, but maybe not.
I don't think it is.
All right.
So
I like that.
Be curious to see where that goes.
Okay. It's Eder is actually how you pronounce his name.
Eder. Okay.
And we actually have another title that I believe he's worked on through Freestyle Comics. I think he did the 2nd issue of Vigilance for Freestyle Comics. So definitely come in and check that out because there should be some on the back wall there. All right. So I'm going to tell y'all about this crazy bit. Butcher Queen, issue 2. This one, script by Jim Owsley, art and letters by Ben Sawyer. This is crazy. Okay, so it's a Red 5 Comics. I picked it up strictly because I like the cover. Like, I was just like, let me just check this out. And I have no idea what this series is about. You just start reading and you try to get into it. And it's a very interesting read. It's kind of dystopian. You got multiversal kind of things. It bounces back between an Earth 2 and Earth Prime. There seems to be like different people that have different roles and trying to, figure out exactly what this person's intentions are in this dimension versus another one seems to be what this mystery is all about. I really like it as an indie title. I think like if you're looking for some really fun explorations in art, I think they try that and do a really good job.
It looks gorgeous.
Yeah. Like it's got some very funky, like very stylistic stuff to it with the character faces, but it just adds to like the characterizations. Like this dude looks evil, and he is. So it works out really, really well to see this happen. Like I think Ben is going to be somebody that I want to keep a close eye on artistically, because the choices that he's making are very, very strong, and it works really, really well. So I enjoyed reading this. Again, it's something I just picked up on a humble. Had no real clue as to what I was getting into. It was fun. Sometimes you just got to read a book and just experience it. It's not about, I'm following this storyline. Just pick up a book sometime. That's sometimes the best way to get some cool
might
treasures.
Open you up to something completely new.
100%. So that's your challenge, guys. Pick a new book.
So I have been a sucker for the past year for the Marvel Action Series through IDW. I love the art style.
Right.
I love the kind of more comedic offshoots, the lighter-hearted stories. So I checked out Marvel Action Chillers #2.
This is more like a horror type thing?
Exactly. It's more of a horror offshoot of that Marvel Action Series.
Okay.
And particularly this one's following a monster hunter named Elsa Bloodstone.
Oh, I love Elsa.
And basically what has happened here is you basically got two parties. This is all from issue 1, so not really spoiler. There's two parties here. There's Elsa, who's on her own quest.
Right.
And you got Riri and Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Are trailing behind her.
Got you.
But what they're searching for is Iron Man has obtained a book that has made him not exactly Iron Man anymore.
Oh.
So he's putting together a Dark Avengers.
Yeah, I'm going to need to see that.
And particularly, this one is about going after the first Dark Avenger he's claimed.
Oh, that's dope. Okay, so this is interesting. So Elsa is a teenager in this one.
She's a lot younger here.
Okay.
She's kind of just making her name. Nobody really knows who she is.
Got you.
And she's definitely out to make a name for herself. So, but like the other Marvel Action ones, it's really lighthearted.
Right.
Really, it's not as deep as some of the, it's geared more for younger readers.
Right.
Which I thoroughly enjoy because my daughter loves these. So
that's awesome.
Definitely good take, good fun read. And there's a spoiler as to who the next Avenger is going to be that he goes after here at the end. So be curious to see how they...
how do you scarify that one? I'm with it.
We shall see.
I'm with it. So the Marvel Action line, are they story arc specific, or do they just kind of tell stories and bounce around?
It varies per series.
Right.
This one obviously, and I believe the Black Panther and even the Captain Marvel are more arc-oriented.
Okay.
But then, like, another one that I love is the Spider-Man and Venom they were doing for a while.
Okay.
And it was, like, quick shots.
See, there's all this, like, industry talk about, like, where the industry's going, and people are claiming that DC is going to shut down and stuff like that. And I think the solution is not that DC is going to shut down. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think what needs to happen is more concrete, short stories. Not even necessarily story arcs, but like this is a story that we're telling. Right.
I mean, you guys have talked about it week after week on the show. And that's where a lot of these smaller press are kind of hitting it out of the park because, being smaller, they don't really have a want or desire to invest in something for a long run. They don't know where it's going to go. So when somebody comes to them or a team comes to them and says, here's 5 issues laid out, here's our story we want to tell.
It's easy.
It's a lot easier for them to invest in.
Right.
And honestly, some of these stories, because they're closed on both ends,
are so fantastic. Right? Like,
absolutely.
And I think it goes into like when you recommend a comic to somebody that doesn't read comics, you don't say read Batman. You go, here's year 1. You say, here's Dark Knight Returns. Here's Long Halloween. Those are stories. They are like more than just story arcs. They are legit stories that you can pass along. And we don't tell stories like that often enough. Like, I think the last time that we did it was kind of Scott Snyder's run, like Court of Owls. I can give somebody Court of Owls and just be like, you'll like this. It happens to be part of an ongoing Batman series, but that's not the point.
Well, and then you know who Batman is. They don't have to retread that information. You don't need to learn, you know, about his parents again and whatnot.
Exactly.
You can see him in this set story. And
so, speaking of that, talking about this last book that we both read, we've got Action Comics. This is 1027. This is Bendis, Romita Jr., Klaus Janson, and who did it? The letters? It is Brad Anderson did colors. I'm sorry, and Dave Sharp did the letters. This one is kind of like a wrapping up issue, and I had bounced in and out of this, so I really wasn't. I wasn't following.
Same here. Yeah, I wasn't fully up to date on it. But.
Not at all. But okay, so in an honest critique here, I think this is exactly what is the problem with DC. This is an ongoing series that does not have the same sense of finality in their story arcs. This is a long ongoing, which there is a time and place where that's amazing. I don't know that it's working right now. Yeah. Like, I think there's almost too much that's happening.
Yeah, like I said, even just being semi-familiar with the recent Action Comics run, there was just too much. And with it being, this was meant to be an epilogue. It was meant to tie this up.
Right.
I didn't feel it did so too well.
No. Like, I felt like I had way more questions coming out of this than were answered. And, I mean, again, I get that you're supposed to try to, get them interested in reading the next thing. I am very interested in what this means.
Oh, yeah, with what it sets up. But
right.
But that's also a completely different arc they're setting up and heading off with. So.
Exactly. And I think those are the things that need to happen. I think, like, again, one of my favorites that have ever done it would be like Grant Morrison and his run on Justice League, right? So the first one is called New World Order, and you can find New World Order as a trade. You know exactly what that is. And then you got Rock of Ages, another arc that has its own very specific story beat. It's different. It's not like yes, there are carryovers. There's things that are mentioned, but it's a totally separate thing. And I think those things are what's needed for the industry to breathe right now. So sorry, Bendis, you're still my guy, but this is how I feel. I'm being honest. Okay, so moving on to the acrylics here. What do we have that's the same? Just one?
Two the same.
Two the same?
And then we each got one on our own.
That's okay. Yeah, you're right. Which do you want to use first?
So I'd say let's do our individuals.
Okay.
And then this is definitely going to be last.
That sounds good.
And,
I'll start off.
Good. Okay.
So Black of Heart. Okay, so here's the reason why I grabbed this one. This is straight up from Source Point Press, new release, issue 1. Grab this. The reason why you need to grab this is because this is from a local guy, Chris Charlton, based out of Cincinnati. Killing it on the indie market, right? So this is one of those things where, like, in wrestling, you got the guy that's been on the independent circuit and then he gets called up. That's what this is right here, because I actually have the entire series. I got a great, awesome hardcover edition. It's fantastic. I technically didn't read it again because I've read it and I love it. So here's the thing. It's a very gritty black noir murder mystery style story. I'm going to let you just go ahead and flip through that. Hollenbach did the artwork. It's got this cool, like, xenographic style where it's kind of photocopied, but super dark, splashes of color where it hits. It's got great punch to it. It is a brilliant read. Chris is a phenomenal writer. He's a good friend of mine. Go get this book. Like, buy it en masse so that Travis has to order like a ton more with variant covers because it deserves it. This book is awesome. You want this book. If you like criminal, if you like, I would say, pretty much anything by Brubaker or Sean Phillips. This is a series that you need to be reading, but it's super dark. I don't want to give away anything, but there's murderings and it's brilliant. It's a murder mystery. You'll love it. But doesn't it look great?
This is gorgeous.
Thank you. Like, I've had this in my collection for years.
Like, I love the use of color because, yes, there's the obvious places they use it, but then there's just some one-offs that something is just in the sideline.
Yes, sir.
A wallet is randomly colored.
Yes, sir.
Or a label on an envelope.
Exactly. And just to draw your attention. Yeah. Just to draw your attention. It's a total comic reading experience. So, yes, Black of Heart, #1. Is out now. Grab that, add that to your collection, and then follow Chris online. Like I say, he's a phenomenal writer, and you need his stuff, like 100%.
So, talking about me being attracted to those smaller stories, I went with I Walk with Monsters #1.
Shout out to Vault.
Vault from their Nightfall. Mm-hmm. Let me see who was on this. Writer Paul Cornell, Sally Cantorino, and World Design, and I'm not even going to try to do the colors.
Last name Kelly.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's it. I loved the premise. I had read the preview on it.
Mm-hmm.
So non-spoilerly setup.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just explain. It opens up with a young girl who's in a hostage situation.
Okay.
But she's okay with where she's at.
Oh, she's good with it.
She's strangely good with it.
Okay.
Because she already knows the outcome.
Oh.
And she wants to talk to these people.
Okay.
She wants to learn. You almost get the feeling like this isn't the first time this has happened to her.
Okay, she's got experience.
And sure enough, she's got a much deeper plan at hand. But it turns out she's trying to basically redeem herself from her childhood.
Oh.
Being raised in an orphan-like setting.
Okay.
That once she got old enough to realize what was really going on in her home,
family revelations.
She wasn't too pleased with it. Okay. So she's now, it looks like, trying to basically make up for
this looks good
some
and
of the
dark.
things. So yeah, so I mean, she's completely comfortable because she knows backup's coming, and backup 100% comes.
Yo.
And takes care of things for her.
Well, okay.
So it's going to be very dark.
Looking.
I love it because it's very subtle.
Right.
In the darkness that they are approaching the topic of. I don't want to give it away.
Okay. All right.
But it is a very dark topic.
Okay.
But they don't just come out and say it.
They
give you subtleties, and it's like when it clicks, when you realize what's happening. Because it's having a little flashbacks to when she was younger.
I like that.
As she's, recovering from this incident, and you realize what's driving her to do. So it's very curious to see where she's going to go. And, from her flashbacks, you start to wonder about a lot of the people you're seeing.
I like it.
But it's very dark, very interesting, and they've definitely got me hooked for issue 2.
Okay. Next up, we got another number one that we're going to talk about.
Is you want to do that one?
I thought you said you wanted to
we were doing this one last.
Oh, did you want to do this one last?
Yes.
Oh, we can do that one last. Okay, I thought you wanted to do this one last.
No.
Okay. Never mind then. We got Scumbag number 2. Okay. Image Comics. This one is from Remender and Robinson, which I believe is a different artist than did the first issue. So I think this is kind of an interesting thing to switch up artists. Because the other one was done by, oh my God.
I didn't read the first one.
I can see the artwork, but I can't think of his name, so I'm a terrible person. I apologize. But he did like Britannia for Valiant. I think it was Britannia. But yeah, it's super dope. But this holds up well. It's just different if you were paying attention to the art style.
This quote definitely had the quotes of the week, I'll say.
It definitely did.
Again, not for the young readers by any means.
No, hide this from the babies. Hide it from them right now.
Hide it from the babies, your grandma's significant others that don't have a sense of humor.
It's not a good look. So we've got Ernie, who in the last issue, the very first issue, stumbles upon a situation where he imbibes a super secret formula that is going to give him crazy powers. You like that, right? Imbibes. That's right. But he's like the least worthy person. Thor's hammer would not only not move for him,
it would move away from him.
It would.
As he reached for it, it would slide away.
Yes. Don't. And it would strike him with lightning. On general principle, that's how unworthy he is. That's so good. So yeah, he is the worst person that you want for this, but the stakes are high. There's a situation at hand that's unfolding.
Well, plus it's worth saying, even being like that,
yeah,
he's got the most confidence in the world.
Though, listen,
he walks with a swagger
you don't even
that he
know.
Doesn't deserve,
or does he? Or does he? Because he might just be self-aware enough to be like, "This is where I'm at. This is where I'm at." Further, harder, faster. That's just what it is. Okay, deeper. Once you read it, you'll know this is where he is. So he's got to save the world, right? That's what he's being charged with, and he's being bribed to do it. That's just what kind of terrible person he is. In order to save the world, and he's the only one that can do it, he still has to be bribed,
and not with money or wealth or fame.
There's some money in it. It's not a lot though. It was last issue. It was. He upgraded. First, he only said $1,000. Then he said $2,000. Oh, that should let you know what kind of dude this is. Because that's the idea that he has of an upgrade. But literally, he's stepping into a huge conspiracy style story that is global, ever-reaching, and unfolding so quickly. But it's kind of amazing. It's kind of amazing. These stormtroopers are the coolest things ever.
It's really a bumbling idiot story. Like, he's just walking into the mix of something much bigger than he can even understand.
Yep.
And somehow he makes it work.
He's making it work. If he survives this whole ordeal, I'll be surprised. Okay. Book of the week. Numero uno. AfterShock Comics. James Patrick. Rimbrew. Kaiju score number 1. You just don't know when you pick up a book called Kaiju Score, right? You're just
we have a special love for Kaiju.
We do have a special love for Kaiju. It's very true. I do love Kaiju. Okay, that's actually, let me make that a T-shirt. I do love Kaiju. But here's the thing, Kaiju, but Ocean's 11.
Yes,
had a baby. You're talking Pacific Rim, Godzilla style Kaiju.
Well, just the concept of, and this isn't much of a spoiler, the concept of in this world.
Yes.
Much like there's a hurricane season.
Yes.
Or a blizzard season.
Yeah.
There's a Kaiju season.
Yeah. Yeah.
In coastal towns.
Yeah. Yeah. They show up sometimes.
And there are Kaiju warnings.
Right. It's a whole structure, right? There's a system.
Yep. There's alarm systems, warning levels.
Evacuation plans, whole protocols.
And it's normal. It's completely normal.
100%. Okay, this is a part of the super great kooky style of stories like Chew. Even the artwork kind of reminds me of Rob's. So if you like Chew, grab Kaiju. I don't mean for them to rhyme, but they just do. Okay, it's not my fault. Literally, you're talking the best super crooks from Mark Millar style. I got this plan.
Or the worst.
It depends on how you want to look at it. Listen, dude has the best plans, but man,
the worst luck.
He's got one little thing.
They describe it in there. He comes up with the greatest plans, but he's not good on the details.
No, the details.
He's not good on the details.
Devil is in the details, and it does happen. You know what? I'm trying to figure out who I think is the most unlucky. Our main character, who I don't want to spoil, or the other guy. Because, just his simple presence seems to be a problem.
But it doesn't seem to affect him. It seems to affect others around
him, right? That's...
So...
But still,
he carries that black cloud and shares it with everyone around him.
Oh, my goodness.
And I still don't know her motive.
Right.
She's a wild card.
It's super wild card. And I can't wait to see how that plays out. Where is this coming into play? There's so many parts and pieces. It's funny. It's smart. Again, kind of heavy on the naughty list, so don't show this one to the kiddos. Unless you have a cool teenager that, it's Thanksgiving weekend. Maybe you got a cool teenager that you can slip this to 16, 17, 18 years old, and you're like, hey, you want to see something funny? There it is. That's for you. That was the worst whistle. I don't even know if that picked up on the mic. That was so terrible. I can whistle better.
I'll dub one in.
Thank you. It's going to be something weird. I know it is. I'm okay with that. So yeah, man, this was a great read.
It's just one of those that sets I think you already know what's going to happen, but it's going to be such a fun ride.
Yeah, man, you got to.
It's going to be such a fun ride to see how it plays out.
It's so cool. Oh my god!
Because you want to know what's going to go wrong.
100%, 100%. Obviously, we're fans of AfterShock. We love them as a company. I consider many of the creators their friends. So speaking of, I got to give a shout out to Pruitt. Hope you get a speedy recovery, sir. The situation that happened, but much love to you. Speedy recovery. We wish you all the best. But dude, this book, the indies, man.
It's going to be a fun ride.
They're telling the greatest stories right now. The smaller publishers are killing it. And stuff like this is why. Kaiju Score.
All right, so seriously. Could this be a movie?
Yes.
And if you do a movie, do you get the actual Ocean's 11 cast?
Oh my god.
Do you get Clooney and Pitt?
No. Okay. Here's the only reason why I say no is I don't want to distract from the hilarity that's in there. I think we can get almost Clooney's.
See, no, I think you got to. Because I think it becomes almost like an Inglourious Bastards. You're kind of shocked at the casting.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
It's going to be them out of their element, but depends on how serious. And they got to take it serious.
They got to take it serious. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay. Once you guys read this, you got to tell us your casting list. Okay. So in the comments below, tell us who you would cast as the main characters. Because I'm really curious about that. Like that's a. But
would you can go either way.
But wait. Okay. But would you go Ocean's 11? Or would you go The Italian Job? Yeah. There you go. There you go. Which cast fits better, Ocean's 11 or The Italian Job? You got to read it to find out. So do that. Let us know in the comments because we want to hear from you. Obviously, we hope that you liked this episode. And if you did, there's one cool way to show us. Click that thumbs up. We need that validation in our lives. It makes us feel better. We sleep better. We don't pee in the bed as often.
And if you didn't, blame Ryan because he didn't come today.
Also true. And if you want this goodness every week, where we're bringing you some cool non-spoiler, in fact, spoiler-free reviews, definitely hit the subscribe button with the notification bell. Because every week, he's responsible for putting this in your DMs. Every week. It is his fault.
Blame this guy. Is that a bad thing?
Let's see how many likes we get.
Okay.
Fair game.